nambari 0755331318. Hurricane Academy, the future is here.
Ne nobwate ebiasara gusemega uraganie tukubikirira itangazo ebe ni sukuru, eduka, inyagitari, inyangi gose amatanga vono na bugutwakira esimi ase namba inoti sana ibere isato isano isato 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 inoti enoti kumanya mange monona buigona bogo tutarira asensemo ya Nyamataro Itaya House mwese twabariganirie.
Oboremi n'abaremi.
Oboremi nesiro enene kigima asoboge mabua mwanya bantu.
Nomoroberio bwogwesemya amange igoro y'echinchera cy'oboremi amono botugi.
Aseri tukoria rero imeyo moroberi bw'oboremi n'abaremi.
Ekaronko ni chinsu cyane ligori ryanse pienso nkorusiro cyene yemi nange nkuri
gusumete company ya Simiro Seed asinginjero ekomenyere mono mugondo nande ngukinire paka ya muchikongeta guti
no tuare metebere nigo gwate chibese ja no tuare mete 100 tokonyara konyora chibese
kaba monanche goika omwerio iretariane Ven Moriango.
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi.
Oya kegi mumoncho molgerere abu Etaya TV nganchire nkoligene sense miyiga ya kabere ase togo twara enkwana na bageni baito tokoligene se studio na litukiligani gonde no mageni yitete ko mwalibaga aba kwani na kumanyekania bene go cha sole elio tumenya goswa ase nkwara ili tukiligali rero na kumanyanga nigo turachikumulekera political violence na boigo mangana lengi tawo chali umwaka bachilifubire na 2025 na ibire karibu sana wakili nyugo tari kubwata sana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, no. Karibu sana.
Okay, tuna allergies but
sure.
Biamono.
Thank you so much.
Na taire mbiamono so kongariga niga iganande tunyare koere sana manganaya Mokaya John manyimo wakili na kuligindekero kyo MCA seito bahate bogeka kwani wantu wa minto mbatai karibu biamono. Asante Azizi.
Thank you so much nabo na takitu kya akili mulioka kiagana ndo chibiro byonsi komenya kabire tumaiti namonte tukia kenga what brings about political violence.
We have witnessed incidences chinyinge chia political violence and I say kwanza nga political violence no korwana kole because kole instigated because of political competition nga abana siasa abakubeka abantu amo ligera banyare korwana no gusegetana ko ligose no korwanira kuya popularity na siasa kunyara ko weekend the other team or to harm the other team, which is a crime in the first place. Aselichiko nga ne bamo ko engererania ase siasa no montondo mino ose other competitors you are not supposed ko ikerase okobeka abantu hamwe ligere guchaka kumurwani bamurame bamurutamagena kose we've had very bad scenarios, especially ne ya ososi yakolekanite Kisumu. I mean it was covered as a live TV ago ituchitege ago itebinto, you know, he's also a human being much as is your competitor, or you do not agree na side yale. So political violence, the main reason is political competition, and tabia mbekorwa sabarai baito, because these young men and women bakobe kwa mabachikorwa na paid miaka sums chibasa chinke gusekende the motivation pia nenchara because abantu baito bamura baito bechipigipigi amura baito binyoroma babu atimere mo bagakora bande babu atikende so kerakoranga 500 ya ruru aimo kiomora aimo kieke bago aimo kiemeuto ya makomba chiko ako montonde, you know, so on the internet moisonde Kisumu bantu bayimukirie babwate tubayimukiri koru as far as Vihiga Bungoma nemeyo, you know, because of competition, number one, and two, because I say abamura baito bali idle because there are no jobs for young men and women, so anything kera nyare ko beke ndagira semesa they are ready to risk, they are ready to do so, which is unfortunate. Yeah, one.
Can we say we are already seeing early signs for political violence ahead of 2027?
My take would be that we read of the Rwandan genocide, and you know the signs charengo before the genocide itself. Abantu bachagete the competition, the political competition was so hyped. Chisegi bantu tataitiabu serikali ya tataitie kwanu bobe, and we are laying ground. Unfortunately for Chisegi. And very unfortunate we had that experience in 2007. You look at the rhetorics, media openly before abantu. They are inciting the young men and women or their side of teams to prepare for war, you know. So it's unfortunate. Going to 2027, we see scenarios where both teams, because side moya abekire, the opposing team narebe kabamura, then what do we expect? Bloodshed, of course. Yes, it's unfortunate, but we have to be prepared and talk about it so that the leadership takes it up. Because it's a bad sign going forward. Yeah.
How do you think lessons in Kenya think it could implement from the previous political violence? Say to already talk of election violence, post-election violence. Do you think lessons in Kenya wana te learn na co-implement na kobeka emerobelio connecting such things mbirikuwa irore? Do you think
Aziz, we have seen, and the main reason I'm saying, in my opinion, this political violence so rampant and easy to sustain is the unemployment. From 2007, we had one team that felt to Rahange side ya Raila Odinga. And then the other side that felt, again, it's our time to eat. And those people who were in the opposition then, especially the young men and women who had hope, so since then to date, we have not even improved the unemployment. We are talking of so many stories on, we see into projects, into programs, go improve the livelihoods to youth, but they are not effective. So the unemployment gap, the is still remaining since then to date, because the numbers, we saw the Gen Z demonstrations. The main mobilization is the youth have been left out. Actually, you saw people demonstrate graduates, tweet bantu bakonyara go mobilize online people who have careers most of them who are going to the streets na bantu basomete batabwatie kibago kora so that level of unemployment amongst our youth exposes them to then risks chokonyara kogorwa cheaply konyara kominyoka. So since 2007 to date we have not improved the harmony igis tabia lidi alengo then inga serikali geko ile side ina rekoria you know these other part ekobu chikura nere gukora kigotigara nchara that thing is still there to date. We see development yeko bagubuna depending on which side you are supporting konyora magendro nationally kera akubagu constituency kiego support serikali in constituency kieko bwatisi so the president and the government in charge then ego chako launch chipara so mo jumbe okorolekananga ne serikali yale so these are the people out of government feel na barabunga na intunko nkoro tore ushuru feel na barabunga na intunko ntotakere kwa magendra so that competition that urge for konyora support ya serikali nere ikogera abantu banyara go take the hard stance including kobaredi korwana because toko then it means for 5 years etochandegete on the other part bakobwa for 5 years nabo bago enjoy so that lack of uniformity in kogabe bintu bya serikali makes people go crazy. They are ready to do anything including kill and fight each other to ensure they win or to ensure that their team is the one eating at that point so clearly we are seeing those signs and the way development again the way the goons we had the CS interior gotebanga there are over 100 goons or not even goons teams chia goons I mean if we know them why don't we at this early moment if the government is able to they know 100 we need that list published. We need to know the financials. We need to know mbarabiaba bakani kumapema but then we are talking about it lightly without making arrangements or plans chokonyara kolengera likochimutunga na kia bantu baito bakoba we see bloodshed. Yes.
Inki kego drive political violence is it Kenya currently?
Currently, like I've mentioned, the main driver imbalances in dishing out government projects in koenana resources serikali because all of us as a country togo chamo to pull resources through our taxes. But keo ikenga kiyoko bagakwanyora chiko gabanu according to ngaji side kio montoyo mali side kio yondale kabere the rate of unemployment that is the second thing because bamuraba bali aido bamuraba chipigipigi real stage ali ata igunga 500 nchira minyokorwa niyo mino you know they easily go there because we sambabuati nebe sabatagete and then the elite the political class ono bali babuate tabieli embe yoko nyara gobeka abantu barwana because people the political class balibale so I mean bantu balibatage tobo gambi by whatever means you know political leadership is leadership and it's not a matter of life and death you compete fairly you win fine you don't you'll get another chance but we have leaders who don't want to leave leadership we have abarai bali ready gukora kende gionsi as long as batiga roborayo they don't care ngango itera bara manyinga they don't care abantu baitonkomia bale so those are some of the causes chiko enhance and then the tough political competition to bwate it has become so stiff mpake wikera singa abantu bali ready gukora kende gionsi igere banyara konyoro borai yeah
bimano sana karokende asibirengere bia how do you think in ebintu mona bono ethnic divisions economic frustrations and political incitement in ebintu biracho to beka sabe no matters political violence
ethnicity is number one where people feel anseito you know motakeri the other team tatakeri goika seito ga bono konyara go sell the agenda whereas in the constitution to what the right of freedom the freedom to speech of expression to interact na konyara go tarandonsi asoko nyara go kwana idio bwate but the political nature to bwate bono the ethnicity amongst us make people believe we saw it I mean very unfortunate a member of parliament telling another political team ngamota cha Kisumu you know such statement that person atakereko lika atakereko railway station that is incitement in the first place because why would you tell another team ego tara democratically go sell their agenda not ko a region perceived to be your region. So those are the reasons, and I believe the government what the main role, and the buck stops with them. We take hard stance, which we are not seeing whether Mbaleredi Konyara go attack or tackle that the kind of radicalism again rather than incitement currently. In my opinion, the government is failing.
Thank you so much, Krokende. How dangerous is online hate speech na misinformation?
Online hate speech is just like any other hate speech, let me say, because whether online or orally spoken in rallies or any other place, the danger with the online hate speech is that Kenya, we are now a digital country. One word they coincide in another region, say Mombasa, spreads very fast to the whole country. And the people who believe in that line of thought, the other team, so that kind, it's ideally radicalism. No konyara go spread the hate, no konyara go spread go spew, go se konyara go beka sabanto the hate amongst the teams. Tigare team weye tigara yendeverali, but it's dangerous. We all agree.
Pia sana timaiti tupate law enforcement bodies.
Yes.
Mienza ito ya Kenya.
Yes.
Asibira ngalibia o roche ba feiri o kore role yabo. Kagara we can't have abantu bago kwana hate speech. We can't have abantu ba of what you have spoken. Aba umuntu agutishira kabisa nga to chakusi, to cha Kisumu, to cha Segete. Do you think enforcement ye to nebo to muchano?
And I agree, which I say openly, the month of fail, team ya fail is the government, because it's entrusted with the responsibility to provide security for the entire country. It doesn't matter which team is on which side, as long as you're doing the right thing. So the team that is failing, or the government in terms of the law enforcement officers, they give very stern media addresses, but implementation. Because afterward, now going to implement that, and people asking themselves, including myself, that I mean, why would the government, the security agencies, but then end up not implementing? The opposition is saying, so then people start believing in because why is it not arresting? Aziz, you know, in the country, some incidences happen and they are able to track even yearly. Example, the death, the MP Tokasipul. We even have videos, we have clips on the whole program that implemented. So they have the ability on one hand. The other hand, they have the ability to but they are all over. The video clips, they are there. They are known goons. Then we are told they ran to Uganda. Uganda is just the other way. And then there is the cooperation between Kenya and Uganda. You simply make a call, they'll be arrested and brought back for trial. So there is that arrangement between the East African community. So they are not so far away. But then what effort has the government, the security agencies with beyond kokwana as a media standing and by the it's trickling down, as I'll tell you. It's unfortunate that even to our villages, currently we have wards, we have MCAs, we have people in the ground. You know, it's leaving the national stage. Yeah, Chirechi County, even the village. So what do we expect? We are forming militia groups, because every team, the other team errors. So at the end of the day, we are honestly creating a scenario worse in 2027. Every team will be armed, and then the government may not even have the capacity to command the security the whole country, because every ward, every polling station will be manifested now chigunyej. So if we don't take conscious intended measures now, then we are looking at a bad state going forward.
Yabona sana wakili. Timaiti kiro monto kwe boli yara sana di boli ni teto kuboli. Who owns guns? Recently, you saw Gachagua being attacked in a church.
In a church, yes.
Gachagua is like, I was attacked by goons.
Yes.
And Gachagua says they were sent by the government. And the government says, no, it is Gachagua who used his own goons to attack him.
Yes.
Who really owns these goons that we are talking about?
Well, that's a technical one. Aziz, who owns the goons? You may not know.
Because everybody is like, is running from the whole situation. Nobody is owning up the mistakes.
And that's why I said the people who can tell us exactly who is sponsoring which goon, the government, or the law enforcement agencies, whatever. We have 100 teams of goons. Can we have the list of these goons? Because they have that ability. Can we have the financiers? You know, Al-Shabaab, finance so we know M-Pesa transactions to these goons. We know serikali nebo ability kunyara kumanyanga ningoko ba megumeute yenga yagolete ningoko bairera ningoko baragelia, because a militia or these goons are fed by someone, and we believe that the political elite, the political class, because even as Gachagua points to the government, we also know some opposition leaders. I may not say, I don't want to give concrete evidence, but say there are those perceived kobanga no opposition, because what normally happens kane the next time nera agwe panga, you know, reactionary kind of approach nga nero tebatiang mukia morai komi 20 ngenda bachikonde. So by without knowing and acting in self-defense konyara we protect nga naeno watabantu, and that's what is happening even in to the wards, to the polling stations. One team konyare koleta goons, konyare koleta bantu boga. The other team for self-defense yabe kabantamo. You know, ideally you are beginning to put together a group yebi bago. So ndioko ba 200 alikuwa bako batenenu imokeme utomogenda ali bago ntema to baake semu baruani. Ideally we are radicalizing aba muraba but even tune team ya nyarebe line team ya nyarebe buna mokogera na mohakane, it goes to elections, you lose an election, the other team fights. So really about ownership, it's the political class, it's the political elite. I do not want to imagine a government basikali and the whole security system would opt out ya basikali balia echake go sponsor goons. Very logical, and if it is happening, it's very sad, because come on, why would a government echake beka bamuramo ebibago bachigo itana? This happens between the leaders, the political leaders, and they are the ones to blame. I pray and indulge Keromonto ole siasa genda to that rally without imagining security. If the leadership, if the security organs provide security like it's expected, as is, you will be sure on the time you're rally because you feel safe. Justice take its course, so you will feel secure. So the insecurity amongst the political class, we have leaders walking around with pro box, I mean, a security system is effective. Why would we be having politicians walking around and who are they going to maybe injure or harm? They are amongst themselves. You know, if it's our constituencies, if it's within the country, we are Kenyans. And why are we fighting? Because we've been paid by a politician or by the political class. So the owners of goons are known, and they are politicians. They're the ones financing these young men and women who are unemployed. Yes. So the government should take those leaders to account. And they're able to know, you know, is Kenya. Person can be retrieved through a court order.
Of course.
And we are even able to know and who are financing these goons.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But I don't go differentiate. You are a leader, and you told me you are. I thank God you understand. But I don't go differentiate between freedom of speech na incitement.
The borderline should now that is where we call tokorangelia bantu babe responsible leaders. You know, if someone is not responsible, he will be careless, and that careless kind of talk border on incitement, because you know there is freedom of speech. There is speech to say we mentioned ngambali bakukana nga tocha gusi, you know, bakukana nga tocha Kisumu, bakukana nga tocha maybe Boikoyo, some regions chia counties in there in central. I mean the borderline is keroko tebia bantonga tocha, you know, that is your freedom to say totake iligocha. But when it says ogocho morwani, you know, now that is becoming incitement. And most of our leaders who are not responsible mbali konyara go differentiate, go se konyara go keep a mark between the freedom yogo kwana what you think is okay, because you are free to say mocha. But now when you go ahead and say ogocha morwani, and then you go ahead to arm you know, you are preparing people for war. That is clearly incitement. And now it's radicalizing because you are giving them very unfortunate. But then we need responsible leaders. Let me instead tell my people, let's keep peace. Chi channel chingia chia chikobwatiri chikonye kwa nyalira kogosero okoraki or address your grievances, not kwa uyondeke bago and achigwa ko yonde. And mark you'll know that about these political leaders mbali wako barabwa banyene kerama genali yako rutu bago protect kubata migwa. So Gachagua was evacuated. Abantu bako miaraje and abana babo mbayo amongst that team, because abana babo barabu bako so maisiko chi university chinene chiga ali bako gendi to functions, so the people bago chandeka na bago itana na abana baita batakansa abana bataliko ababako egu 500 because omwana bo those political leaders no mo elibu 2500 na abwate because the father is able to afford, so the people balito chandeke tensa abanta bataka abutoko nyara go chandeka go itana nto abanyana sa. Yes.
Yesani mwancho mwurigelia nigo togendete kukwana na wakili John Mokaya arene chinga kito kumulikira mangana lengete political violence na boigo kumulikira sana so bachulubu mwaka bichili fubere na mirongo ibere na isano na ibere ne chinga kibo to kubolenga na bokanda kubatana muna intwe weterasi namba yetu esimu 0735333000 na boigo mwancho mwurigelia asesemo imitandao turi live kabisa sensemo ya YouTube na boigo asesemo ya Facebook na bokubeka ujumbe yago ase enseme yo elio tomanye birengere bya ombire byo kubwata libolio na bokubolia suko bwatera na sobwamo amwelio bumurubuliga etokinga twatwa regento ekikira tokonye chinga kitogandete gusuka bosio na gusukanga mano asabucholi bole bosio makabachili fubere na 20 na isano na ibirende tokanda bosio manchumuliri kabano ganda kobaigana kupata na mona intwe oika omwelio wakili na bonto tokobolia nga krokende. Do you think there is need ya sensitization kurobeligwa abantu baito bikarobiro beligwa abantu baito bakwanirwe on the need to have peace ekarotorocha sabachali barane kwa 2027?
I entirely agree naye Aziz, because now asiya ikeire twaralirenga serikali is reluctant, banto they are being put into groups and armed to fight. I want to plead with the bodies, the church, we have human rights groups, we have IBC itself has that duty to come down and do sensitization as abantu. One thing about Choli does not mean toiterania manyinga. Kochoro yomo na gotachoro yonde, that leader does not lose a life. He loses an opportunity to lead. And the team yarenge behind him does not lose an opportunity yokoiba. So that we sensitize our people. And even leaders but taken through some basic training. When you go to political competition, you should be prepared to lose. It's not an offense to lose, and it should not be embarrassing. You know, it should not be a matter of life and death because otakira abantu baiterania manyinga nga tobweti chikura. So that training, that basic sensitization should be done by the relevant bodies, and IBC should step in, chiefs should start doing seminars, and now the local administrative bodies, chiefs, the DOs, DCs, county commissioners should be telling our people, stop, calm down. Kenya remains, it's one country. I mean, where are we taking ourselves? Our children because of political leadership. That training needs to get down to the people, so that even the goons, we're realizing, come on, we are killing ourselves for nothing, because at the end of the day, these are personal interests. The country needs to move forward depending on, regardless of ningo nyara koira kerogo. So that training for me is important, and the sensitization. Media houses should come up with programs, teach our people. Molembe is key, because we want to ban our country. Our counties, these things goes down to ward in Sahari. I mean, then where are we headed as a country? It's very sad, unfortunate. Because say in a ward, polling station to another one, you are related, and why would you be fighting each other? That training, that go flow down to our people. We call upon everyone, and even our leaders, to take charge and calm down the country, because we are almost 14 to 15 months shy of elections. So we go with the current mood to 27 to end chikura August. Come on, it's sad.
Nala kiombe kia DCI.
Yes.
Kero nale kuri mitandao kego tebabu na ondiwensi ukochuko nyorwa kagutumeka hate speech will be arrested. And you've talked of this, but mighty chinkwane sometimes inonye police chiga chikomana mangana lengete oburendi mense itu ya Kenya. Are they really serious when they speak out things in the public? Kiagara, you know, when you promise a normal Kenyan nga mara yondiwensi kuchokotoko kwa na hate speech again na bako chokobe kwa held responsible asi chinkwana chiae police chike ngakiko iraba Kenya, because you've heard people say they even know who the goons are, but they cannot be held responsible for their goonism actions. Do you think aba Kenya believe it in bodies meant for we
mentioned Azizi, we don't believe them. They talk tough on the media, they talk tough on the press, and promise go nyara go kore binto go tenenio binto bibia gunism, but we've not seen enough efforts being made, save for effort chinke bako make. We saw, of course, vanto baitete sifuna, some of them bako bwatu bako irukot, and our courts were gracious, bako irukot, and they were gracious enough bakaegu bond terms chire in a way chiko discipline chiko nyara go kobo hia babande go chimaga anga. I mean go bwatu next ko koligento buneke, you'll be forced to work on bond terms cha 1 million and above. Chia banta bange batanyale normal Kenyans bali bako bwatu bako lebintebi. So like we said, we want to challenge these security organs. But into action, because these goons, we should have all of them crushed. Now we are creating another Mungiki scenario. You know, Mungiki began from such radicalized amaliogo kirege ntoligere mbanyara ko reason balengere lidioka in the manner umurayo lioko koraki okoba kanata ite kokora uganita baita, you know. these people needs these organs, security agencies, the DIG, the police, the DCI, needs to step in and say, regardless of your political power, you know, and this should be an instruction even from the president himself, regardless of how close you are to a serikali or even the highest person in the country, if you break the law, especially in terms of preparing ensego chichisegi, kobeka kwa aba mulebi bago, then you should take up legal action should be taken against you. Enyare go ikirani to the latter, because sometimes our security organs bakoboa. You know, a case is reported of an incident, goonism in Kisii, for incidents. Then you realize upon investigation, omonto sponsored these goons, because the police are able to know, is very close to a serikali. Then how do you arrest this person? You know, some officers think of come on, these people are known as because they also have families. So that freedom to work, to even arrest the very powerful politician and the court go answer for their crimes. We have a body national cohesion takire gotoka NCIC ekokwanera abantu. This time that body has a budget. Why don't they come out and train our people the need for peace? Sponsor seminars, sponsor go to counties, what are they doing? And then people say they are toothless because beyond what we have not seen anyone being arrested for hate speech. Come on, incitement. And the people in the opposition. So then hate speech is not one-sided. It is for both, you know, so that the government is also able to stamp authority and say, mangana ya goonism, you carry your own burden. People will fear. So we are challenging the security organs, the bodies responsible to sit down and implement to for the peace and security and progress a country to ya Kenya.
Bimono sana manchumulire bale moganda timono utobwatia ngachire bamenye na mukanda kulika chujumbe kabisa sense miye gabano ya amangana lengete murubuli kwa nitana wante tukolire chujumbe chere bale moganda tukoli kaiga ndo chumwalikire sana ndo cha umasiki momi ninkuru cha buo gotebanga nogenda tukutubwete sana ni ndo cha iga mama Ruth from mama Biria watching live and following oya goteba akurukwa masiki momi gotebanga MCN coming iboge ka ward asubuhi na mapema bimono sana masisi nginchu kutoka iga Josephat Nyamwega gotebanga wakili John Mokaya Momanyi when coming MC iboge ka ward mheshimiwa tuko pamoja kurukwa Josephat Aminga Nyamwega daktari. Thank you so much mheshi wetu ninkorocha abo kurukwa Nancy Kyle nindo chibo Steven Ogecha gotebanga I support you mheshimiwa. There is no need you go to violence samangana lengete obochori boitumienze ito ya Kenya macholilia wakili mungwa naro kurukwa miruka Hezbon nari kinga na iga nara gotebanga I think what brings about violence in our country, especially during elections, is all about hate speech and resentment from our politicians. Will they come to an end, Mheshimiwa?
We hope they do, because
and maybe as you kindly
yes,
and
yes.
even as you answer that one, do you think there should be more stricter regulations as abaraibaito? Because matters, incitement and hate speech are taking a very great shape as in say Kenya, and of which we might end losing lives, which was here.
A suggestion, Yana. Thank you, Asibali Bonsi Batoligereti, and we appreciate. Thanks for following. Indeed, the main issue is hate speech and incitement, but you see, it's political. hate speech is speech bobe against your opponent. Incitement is asali togo ikera togo nyara gotegunga olitatake irikoro koraki koira this political power opposition okoira moite kuita abantu bae, you know. Now that is what is wrong, and I suggest that the regulation, and you know, regulation, that is why Aziz Nande we go back to our voters and tell them, please we implore you, choose abantu bamanyeteko tuara wisdom nke, don't, I mean, chora abantu baragenda no go etiri chiko some bills, like especially regulation of hate speech and the kind of incitement and goons. It's a new scenario where actually there is no clear law konyara ko regulate the coming of such goons, konyara ko regulate the financing, go bar the financing of goonism and stuff. It's a scenario we have found ourselves that needs a legislation, that needs richiko konyara ko kana hate speech ne kanira, of course yero hate speech ndo yemanyete no konyara, I mean either tribal intonations, language what the tribal intonation go say even community intonation erembe within ebinyoro bito imena umonte kenyoro kende akora amangi kinyoro kelina bantaba be, you know, that is radical, that is hate speech, that is incitement but the regulation we saw abajumbe bago etie majiko nga gokunyara korame serikali online utakirobwa atwaka net 1 million. Why don't they pass strict regulation as against mobilize goons, as against konyara go kore bintebi? And we need independent minded leaders so that bantu baitonko basabana barabuki bakogende ballot bale boliri bale booth malingo monto yotogwakera omonto rachiko tenena farm atoroseliri chiko buna totagete, because we elect leaders not to go and even batoro kolera bintu binde chipara ne bintu binde. Serikali and the county governments have that duty. Now legislation is where we elect an MCA, we elect an MP to go and legislate on our behalf. Ase mechando tobuata ase binyoro imebuna bono gunizime. We should be having an intelligent and one innovative MP ango chakere korosirichiko ligenda for passing. If were it that our county assemblies and parliaments were independent, because even as you come up with that bill, serikali na beko kokani koseko intimidate, and they don't. So if we should go to the ballot and elect leaders very responsible in themselves, very responsible in, very independent in thinking, bakonyara go swali batokolere ebintu biranyara go tokonya. So regulation is key. Yes, in terms of go curb na kwa the security organs powers to act, go enforce richiko konyara go tenenio binte biga we are facing now.
Thank you so much. Ibiro bia ne bia mpata ngende kidaika isa toinyaiga nkole, lakini ndeto kwa kidaika ibere na kwanengana ya yomwali, but kero kwanengana yomwali na bonte tembolinga with the rising political temperatures turocha society ya Kenya. From your end, do you think IEBC ne tayari kwa handle such a political temperatures majorly as such all Borussia?
IEBC should prepare now. The leaders, we believe the chair, Thekon, and the commissioners are seeing, you know, Aziz, what we are feeling down here is felt by almost all the leaders. What we are able to see, including IEBC. The rate at which siasa chakire too early, I would say, my opinion, and most people would agree, that as early as now, 1 year to elections, more than 1 year, because we have almost 14 months, that's a year and 2 months. So we are having strong political intonations, incitement. So IBC should come and make arrangements, form programs, like we suggested, just sensitization, to help konyara go iranie mioyo yabantos, konyara go prepare our people for political competition, ere secure, ere safe, etali koleta emo bagano gatiya ito. And these other bodies, the NCIC, should come out and say it is a castigate koramano kotorocha our leaders. You know, when tokorabara ibeto koramano on live TV, then twabanyene followers tokonyara koba prepared for war because now twaramira umuraito chorigwe ntobunebyo then twanyara gochaka gwepanga for isegi. So IBC has a big task ahead of them konyara ko prepare abantu for a free and fair election because now the radicalization again the intonation is in amori tayari koiba na ntuntu taiti koibero. IBC should come out and tell us that no, we are ready for a free and fair election so that Kenyans calm down. Whatever the results that they announce in 2027 August, chief and nature results, Kenyans believe that indeed the body, the IBC, assured us of a free and fair election.
And it is.
Azizi, you said, I appreciate. Thanks for this moment. We look forward to more.
Yeah, sure.
Tingo kora ntakuwa netie bantu bonse batoligereti koruchinse mochons chia Kisii County kitutu chache South and specifically boge kayaito tigatobe komorembe ntoruana taligenteke tiga bantu baito batulie bachore ngora na nyasaye nere na bagotochorera omurayumie biamon.
Thank you manchu morgilia sengenche ko baiga biamono magene na sengencho gocha na gokire sana and I want to believe ayatwa konraiga na ingencho sana gatorigerete aiga bosio bochori boiga. I want to believe abantu baito batwarire egento kerato konye nene mono we are preaching peace none kerto goso aso bochori mwa kwichili fubere ne mono ngepere na isana na ibere manchu morgilia na wante teko koboriga ndekorigilia ta TV orobo gusi chiga ki oganate kwerigania magana maiya segeka gekekere bosi asenchire wenge no chukubera na baminto lakini ndo manchu morgilia kiraiga moto ikiro muroberio o malibu muroberio kwa neta siri tukiriga ria rero lituko ria Jumatatu chinga kingo tebabuya gochesa baminta butu abateranire Franklin Bayonga kurasese mu kamera na bogo Joshua Auta kurasese mu yakabere ye studio nchini ngoro kwa Cyrus Azizi eta TV nero barabo bosi bimono magine singi chogocha.
Thank you
So much wakili.
Biamono.
Thank you.
Appreciate.